Hey guys, this is Lindsay with Vinyl Gallery and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we will be working on this rustic western patina-style tumbler using foil and printable adhesive vinyl. If you'd like to see how we created this look, just keep watching. So I'll be starting with this 20-ounce skinny straight tumbler from Hogg. I've already prepped and spray painted my tumbler using a black matte spray paint from Rustic, and I'm going right in after that dries with this adhesive foil glue from Southern Belle Glitter. I'm just taking a Wet n Wild makeup brush and I'm applying a thin layer of this glue all the way around the tumbler. You definitely want to make sure that you work quickly because this glue does dry fast, so you want to make sure that you work quickly and that you are getting an even layer so that you do not have any lines or streaks in your adhesive. Also, make sure you get that top and bottom rim and make sure that is fully coated so that you do not have any missed spots in your foil once you apply. Once I was done applying my adhesive, I just took my heat gun on the lowest setting and I used it to help speed up the process. You'll know that your glue is ready to use because it dries shiny and clear. Now, I do not know the name of this foil. I got this foil from Southern Belle Glitter and they sent it to me when I bought this adhesive. So I'm not exactly sure. I will try to find it and list it in the description box below, but you just want to take a piece and wrap it all the way around the tumbler. Now this foil did come rolled up pretty tight, so you know your girl lives on the struggle bus. So I did have a pretty tough time getting it to lay down on the tumbler flat and smooth, but that was no problem. I just took my squeegee in my hand and I just tried to smooth out any lines or creases that I created when applying this foil. I do go back in with the unused foil and I just apply it to the tumbler, trying to fill in any spots that were left behind when I removed the foil. And this is what we have so far. I did sit this tumbler off to the side for about an hour and then I go right in with this 50-50 mix of glitter glue and water to seal the foil in so that I do not have any fish eyes when I go to apply that first coat of epoxy. Once our sealer was dry, I did go in with one thin coat of epoxy. I think I used about 15 milliliters for that very first coat. As soon as this first coat of epoxy was cured, I moved right into the second coat, and I am using a little extra ink epoxy, the turbo formula, and I love this epoxy because it is a thin viscosity and I'm able to apply thin layers and still not have a bulky tumbler. Once I get this layer of epoxy applied, I'm just going to hit it with my torch a few times just to pop any bubbles that may have risen to the surface, and we will be ready to apply our spray paints. For the spray paints, I'm using Saint-Tropez and Gold Metallic from Rustic, and I am going in first with the Saint-Tropez, and I'm just going to give it quick, small spurts of spray paint. Y'all make sure you are wearing your respirator when you are doing this process. I did this inside, so I was trying my best not to make a mess, but definitely make sure you wear your PPE when dealing with spray paint and epoxy. Next, I'll be going in with 91% rubbing alcohol in a small spray bottle, and I'm just going to spritz the entire tumbler, trying to hit those spots of spray paint. And as you can see, when you hit it with the alcohol, it does create those rustic looking sails. Now the key to this is letting your epoxy spin and set up for just a little bit. I normally would wait about 30 minutes, but I didn't think I had that much time because I was using a fast set. So I went in with this paintbrush and just dabbed the spray paint spots, trying to keep those sails and rustic look. I am using two different brushes, trying not to mix the paint colors. I will go back in and add a little bit more gold because I felt like my gold was kind of blending in. So I go back and add more gold, spritz it again with alcohol, and just keep dabbing until I get the desired look that I'm going for. Once I was satisfied with the placement of my spray paints, I do go in with my torch pretty heavily because you do create some pretty massive bubbles in the epoxy when you are manipulating it with the paintbrush. If I were to do this again, I would probably wait another 30 minutes and then go back in with my brush just to create some more texture. But after that, I added 2 coats of epoxy and we will move into the sanding process. Now, because I did not use glitter and I still have some pretty thin coats of epoxy on this tumbler, I went in with a 220 grit sanding block and just created a small thin line of stainless steel so that our future layers of epoxy will have something to adhere to. Here is a close-up of the stainless steel rim that we created with the sanding block, and I'm going to take this to the sink, give it a quick wash with dish soap and water, and we'll move right into the decals. Moving right along, you guys would be so proud of you, girl. This is my very first successful attempt in using the print and cut feature on my Cricut. Now, if you know me, you know that I am a die-hard Silhouette Studio and Cameo girl. I have been using the Silhouette since 2015 when I was making t-shirts, and I have never been able to get it to calibrate or to use the print and cut feature on that machine. So my son bought me a Cricut Maker 3 for Christmas, and I finally took it out of the box for this project, and I am absolutely amazed at this print and cut feature. Now back to this tumbler. This is where I had a dare to be bold moment. I felt like the tumbler was missing something other than the obvious glitter, so I decided to add some foil to the tumbler. So to my beginners, listen to me clearly. If you are going to add these foil sheets to your tumbler, spray it with clear matte spray paint instead of applying it straight to this glossy surface. This foil loves to stick to the glossy surfaces, and I had a time trying to brush this foil off because it stuck to not only my adhesive, to everywhere else on the tumbler as well. So I'm just dry brushing this tumbler trying to get this foil off, and at this moment I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? So after I panicked, I just took some painter's tape and went in and removed all of the excess that was not adhered to the adhesive that I had applied. Now this did take quite a bit of time, but I was able to successfully remove about 98% of the extra foil that had migrated all over the tumbler. Once I removed the excess foil bits, I went right in again with this 50/50 glitter glue mix and sealed my entire tumbler. I set the tumbler off to the side for about 2 hours to dry, and then I was ready for my next coat of epoxy. I'm going back in with about 15 to 20 milliliters of a little extra ink turbo epoxy, and that's when I realized something was missing from this tumbler. After I got my epoxy applied, y'all, this tumbler was staring at me and I was staring at it, and I was thinking, what am I missing? I'm missing something. And that's when I had my aha moment. Y'all, it was not one piece of glitter on this tumbler. So I went in with the last little bit of epoxy that I had left and mixed in Unicorn Sneeze from 4K Glitter Co. And I just applied that all over the tumbler. I don't think in the history of my tumbler making I have ever made a tumbler with no glitter. So now I can truthfully say this is a glitter epoxy tumbler. I went in with my torch to pop any bubbles that I created when adding the glitter, and after this coat dried, I realized that my decal did lift in 2 spots. So I went in with a 400 grit sandpaper and then finally with a 600 grit sandpaper to smooth the entire tumbler out. You kind of want to be careful when using a higher grit, 220 or higher, because you can create lines in your epoxy that may or may not fill in with your final coat. I went in with a little extra inks, regular formula for my last 2 final coats of epoxy, and this is the finished product. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, please give us a huge thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll try to list everything that I used in the description box below, as well as any discount codes that I may have. If you have any questions or comments, please list them in the comment section, as I do try to respond to each and every individual comment. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, bye.